Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review for Yashahime Season 2, Episode 9, Mayonaka the Visitor. I got the name right. Mayonaka. Yeah, Mayonaka was a deity who was controlling the flame bowls and why he's attacking the village of the northern snowy village. Well, we got a lot of explanation in this episode, and one thing I say, for most of the whole episode, maybe for the first couple minutes though, it was like more on Toa though. But the rest of the episode is focused on Setsuna and Kawaku and Hisu and others, Demon Slayers. So that was good. So at least most of the episode was just focused on one group, So that was nice. But just really quick, Mayonaka the Visitor, I thought it was a really great episode. I thought for the story it was given, especially for the supposed villain, Mayonaka, and how his character was, which I thought was a pretty good episode in the story it told it. So, and some nice visuals on the animation for certain scenes. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this was a great episode, and just really flowing off, ending with Moroha using the Haruj to become Beniyasha, using the Crimson Backlash Wave, at the full raccoon, the giant one, and the elder one. And she was like, huh? What? Well, it turns out that, because that elder raccoon dog was, like, confident when she was doing it, and was like, why? And then, but he used some spell, like a negative effect, right? It was like, how a color turns negative, the reverse color. Well, yeah, so he used kind of a spell to make it, like, a negative scene, and then it ends up turning the backlash wave on Moroha, which that was a cool move. And then it ended up sending Moroha and Takachiyo blasting off like Team Rocket. Literally, how Team Rocket says, we're blasting off again. Well, that was literally just like what this is. It sent Moroha and Takachiyo blasting off into the sky. The other thing, when every time they blast in the sky, you see a little bing. It literally did that. I'm like, wow, they pull a Team Rocket moment right there. And then Hachi's like, oh no, and then he goes chasing after them. And then just quickly and I'll just quickly jump into this part where the three of them are together in a cave. And of course, as expected, from a given price on the set in the preview, Moroha is out for the whole day. So supposedly, a new and improved Beniyasha, but they were pulling the leg here. Well, maybe we'll get the new improvement maybe the next episode, but it goes. I'll get to the preview though, but next video. But anyway, she'll be out though. So, which is kind of adds more to Moroha's character being more like it was things that happened with her dad in Inuyasha. Like, she was confident to let the move think it's gonna work, but then it ends up getting just basically blown up in her face, basically. So that was kind of funny. That was funny though. And then after that, we don't see more of the rest of the episode. That's always nice. Then we cut back to Toa with Ryo and Riku. Riku is still being blind, but the mirror washed off his face, but he's still a bit blind. But he knows that Toa is there because he can smell the fragrance, from the hand cream, the lavender scented hand cream that she used. So that's kind of funny, and Ryo just being all about that. So Ryo is a really good character as well. So, and then the rest of the episode is back with Setsuna and the Demon Slayers. So, Setsuna is still trying to bond with her Naginaga. She can't sever the fate yet. And you get the phone where Kohaku's like, she's seeing that she's trying, but he's like, Setsuna, you cut all the bamboo needed. And so they're using this as a trap to lure the flame bowls into a trap. Which I still gotta say, the flame bowls, they still look pretty stupid with freaking buckets for feet. I still think that is still stupid as hell. I mean, come on, buckets. Even when it's on fire, buckets for feet on a flame bowl. It's still silly as hell. Am I supposed to take these seriously when you have freaking buckets for feet? But anyway, then um, Mayonaka comes in, as saying he wants the provisions, and then ends up saying the flame bowl's in. Setsuna, Hisui on Kilala, they lure the flame bowls in, and while the Demon Slayer's having those traps, using them, whether using it as decoys, using the traps of the oil cannons, and you cause an avalanche to seal them, to cut them off and take them down. And while even earlier, before that, Setsuna was talking with Goro, which the person I didn't think he looked suspicious of. He was like praying to that one grave where I guess that one flame bowl they took down, and said he was from this village though, and that one grave erupts with that one flame bowl, and it sets ablaze to this demon god barrier that they put up around the shrine where the 5 grains are, and then they see that the system's on fire, and so they Sesuna's gonna go there, see, and then but the Kwaku's like, because the other 2 Demon Slayers are from that, where they were also part of that group. They thinking that Setsuna, she's like the one that's deceiving and lying to them, and but Hisui backs her up, and Kohaku has confidence in her, where she goes is not worried about that, and tells him to put the fire out. And that's when Mayonaka coming in, and the 2 Demon Slayers are always with Kohaku. They're gonna attack him, but Mayonaka stops them, freezes them, and then freezes them in midair where they were about to attack, and then puts them in this dry clay. And then talking to Possessor, saying, "Are you here a half demon, right?" And then Goro knocks her out, which I already knew. I knew he was to be suspicious. I already knew that he was gonna do something. So, and but find out later on though. But he's not really a bad guy. But I already knew he was gonna do something though. And Setsuna wakes up, or they're at the shrine where the 5 grains are at, and saying that it's that her Naganaga is like as if it has its own will. I'm trying to say has its own will, and it can't be separated from you. So there is still the bond between Setsuna and the Naganaga are being connected. So it is the bonding as happening a little bit. So it's like it has its own will, but it can't be separated from Setsuna. And then how the guy Mayonaka is like, if you want to take my head, go ahead. And then like with the 2 Demon Slayers take a shot at him with one of their rifles. And I like how a piece of like the collar on Mayonaka's coat, it heals itself. and then he freezes them in the clay. But when before when said that they think that Setsuna was a traitor, no, Goro was the one who's saying that he's the traitor. And then the villagers, including the head of the village, is there. And then Mayonaka seals them away in the clay. But they say that it'll eventually dry off and they'll get out of it, though. So it doesn't kill them, so that's good. And then Setsuna tells Kohaku and Hisui, we're right on Kilala, don't worry about it, I got this, basically. And first Hisui is like a bit concerned though, but Kohaku has confidence in her, saying that, she'll be alright. Which I like that though. And then we hear the good part, one of the best part of this episode is the story of Mayonaka. At first he's saying that since he says that neither a human or a demon will understand, but maybe you, a half demon, will understand. And so Setsuna lets him tell his story. So, and so we get the flashback to how he looked, how he originally looked, because he didn't look like that how he is right now. But how he originally he was more of a blonder hair, and he was more of a white robe, and he was a good deity to the village. He used the 5 grains to make good fields and good healthy fields and crops and all that stuff, giving it to the people, having plenty of food. But until when a guy and his daughter, which that would be the later be the head village. And of course, and then he starts, for all the crops, he starts, collecting taxes from the villagers. Which I thought this guy would be an a-hole, basically, because that's what he's doing, because he gets that evil look on his face. But then the daughter goes to see Mayonaka, is telling her explaining the situation, saying that, well, I've given you enough food and all that stuff, but it's basically what the head villagers, her father's doing, is basically the taxes making people are saying are getting poorer. So, but then he gives her the 5 grains, but then as soon as he does, her father takes it, hides it somewhere she can't find and so then he gets that sense of betrayal. And then when Mayonaka takes on a human form, even when the girl recognizes her, though, and she says she'll try to get it back. She'll try to get it back for him, because if he doesn't, more disasters will happen to the village. She tries, though, a lot of times, but she's still unable to find it. And he gets that he's feeling getting less and less, but being more betrayed. But then, failing on what she's doing, though. But even though if the disaster will follow the village, though, she says, let's just abandon the town. Let's just go away together, basically. We'll abandon the village together. Let's go away together. And okay, he agreed to that. But with the time when they were gonna leave, he was sitting on the tree by himself, though, and she never showed up. So that was like the final straw for him. He lost basically losing the trust in her, and he goes and leaves on his own. But years later, when he comes back, the village is doing very well. It's wealthy. It's prosperous, basically. And then the girl that he liked died. And this is where he just loses it, because he felt, all this, what happened, what he's been through, all being betrayed after he just lost it. And then we get to how he's villainous look right now, the villainous look he has right now, and he was like kind of losing his mind a bit. He has that crazy look on his face that his mind his mind broke, and so that you use up hundreds of years of blessed power only just in a few years. Yeah, basically using it as the village selfishly further only themselves at the expense of that power of the grains, and then he just sends all the flame bulls in to destroy a lot of the houses, and you get that, like I said, that crazy look on his face, which I do kind of feel sorry for, because I know he makes it seem like he's the villain, but he's not, though, because listen to this guy's story, how I'm like, I kind of feel sorry for this guy. So. And then after that, coming back to the present, Setsuna's Naginata starts pulsing, and then is when, what's the deal? And they ask him, what's the deal with Goro here? He's saying that that's his son. That's apparently that's his son. That's Mayonaka's son, which means that he's the mother. He's the girl's son as well. So. Because when he turned 5, she died. So yeah, so he's basically kind of like a half deity god or half deity god, how you want to put it. And saying that when you turn 5, mom died apologizing to you. And so, and this is where the fate, the part of the faith is going to come in for Setsuna to sever. And so, and then they said, even with when he gets the 5 grains, though, it's still too late. Though the village is gonna wither away anyway. So, it's not gonna really matter. The village the village is doomed anyway. That's basically what it is. It doesn't matter if he gets the 5 grains or not. The village has doomed itself. That's what happens. Yeah, this is what happened with how greed happens. So, yeah, they did this to themselves. So, and And then when Setsuna sees Mayonaka, he's just wrapped it around with a golden string, not a red string, but a golden string. And she sees us walking along, and she touches it. She didn't cut it though; she's supposed to feel it. And with that though, she sees like a little bit flashes of the past, like how good Mayonaka likes the woman, and then for each step, how the one at the time when he was sitting by the tree waiting for her, and he was like crying, and you see Setsuna's face, like she's being very sympathetic. She has that sympathetic look on her face, which that was nice for her to see. You usually, hardly seen that part of Setsuna being a little bit sympathetic. You see on her face, like as she's seeing this whole thing, past a flashback of seeing what happened to him. She has that sympathetic look on her face, and this is the fate where it needs to be severed. So the Naginata starts glowing red, and then she cuts it. And then that's when the shrine starts falling apart, and this big tomb rises up, and inside it, it's the woman, Goro's mother. And that she was being used basically as a substitute deity for the 5 grains. Basically, it's basically what it is, a substitute, basically. And you get this really nice shot of that cherry blossom tree just glowing white. That's a really good looking... really good visual look of that glowing tree, cherry blossom tree glowing white. Very good looking piece of animation on that part. That's why I said you get some nice bits of nice visual animation in this episode. Take that glowing tree for example. Nice animation. And then when it turns out and shows, as soon as the part where Mayonaka was going to leave the village with her, but when she never showed up, shortly after when he left, she showed up, and he wasn't there, and so basically she cried. She's been left like that, devastated, and then he goes to her. He returns back to how he originally was, and or I guess Oharu was the woman's name. Oharu was the woman's name, and they were happy. They are happy together, and that how she confessed to him from before, and then they both fade away in a good way. And Goro saying that said that she loved Dad basically in the end. So yeah, it was a nice way how they faded away together. It was a very nice moment, a very heartfelt moment right there. Yeah, this episode had some heartfelt moments in this. So the guy was basically not all evil though. He was just being betrayed so many times, and with the woman he liked, he was like very lost in grief and stuff like that. So, and then it ends with them. Goro saying goodbye to them, but the thing is, the Demon Slayer saying that they didn't get paid though. Because basically, they didn't get paid because the village is doomed anyway, so they don't have no money or whatever. They have no money, or basically the village is gone. Basically, is done for. So that's why there's no payment for them. But they did, even though despite they didn't kill they didn't slay the deity, but they ended up something else, and that was human greed, which basically because that's what that basically thanks to the head man. And how using his abuse of power of that, and the abuse of power of that 5 grains. Yeah. So yeah, they brought it upon themselves. And then the two Demon Slayers over there was working with them, saying, good job, basically. Well, it's nice to be working with you again. Even though basically kind of apologizing for saying that she was a deceiver and a liar, though. But after seeing her, they're confident to work with her again. And then Setsuna stops when she hears something, saying, "What is that?" And then it ends right there. So yeah, I thought this was episode 9, Mayonaka the Visitor. I thought this was a really great episode. I think as of right now, this is one of the best ones I've seen yet, because with the villain who's technically not really the villain, Mayonaka. I felt pretty sorry for when they gave him the death of his tragic story. I did feel sorry, even though what we just did with the flame bowls, which I still stupid look though. But when you hear on Mayonaka's backstory, or depth, you can say, he was given more depth. I think a villain had a good enough depth. If you felt sympathy for him, and then by the end, he was reunited with basically the woman that he loved, and Goro basically seeing her mom and dad basically together, and as they fade away into the light, basically then Setsuna severing that part of the fate. It was a nice heartfelt moment. It really was. This basically the whole episode focused on the one group and not just the three groups at multiple times, like in the previous episode. Kids kept on jumping back and forth, right? So it was nice it was focused on just one group for one episode. Yeah, it quickly showed up Moroha and Toa, but the whole episode was focused on Setsuna and the Demon Slayers. So now, basically, the next episode, given the preview, it's going to be focused on Moroha now, which I will talk about the preview, because I'm kind of excited for this episode. I'm kind of excited for the next episode, I will say. But that's the next episode is going to be focused on Moroha next. So... but here, Mayonaka the Visitor, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought, like I said, hopefully that the next episode Moroha will prove on her Beniyasha, having that attack blow up in her face, and more on a little bit of good moment with Toa and Riku, even Rion as well. But here with Setsuna, trying to do the focus on her bond with her Naganaga. And trying to sever the fate, which did, and but more so the focus on the backstory of Mayonaka, and also Goro, which he did look suspicious at first, but when you later, obviously he was gonna be a traitor, but when you learn more about it, he has his reason to. So it's supposed to has ways to fool you, So, but yeah, he felt bad for Mayonaka, so. By the end, had that heartfelt moment of it, and really nice visuals of animation in certain points. Like I said, when the glowing tree was glowing behind, that was a nice piece of animation. So yeah, I give this a thumbs up for this one. Mayonaka the Visitor, episode 9. I'd give this a thumbs up for. So yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode of my review of the Great Jockey, and then the next preview discussion. So thanks for watching it. Stay tuned for those next videos, and we'll see you later.